the 4 unique negotiation tactics you will ever need. These are 4 tactics that I always use regarding effective negotiation and closing. I've been in mergers and acquisitions for a decade, and I have used these tactics for myself and for my clients hundreds of times. And I can tell you 2 things with 100% certainty. Number 1, it works. Whatever your industry or background is, it always works. It's evergreen. It's universal. It just works. All right? And number 2, you don't need any other tactic. These 4-star negotiation tactics are the only ones you will ever need. Period. End of story. Don't clutter your mind with dozens of tricks. Just remember and apply these ones. All right? And I can't wait to tell you the 3rd one, totally counterintuitive, but so effective. So let's start with the 1st one. Decide in advance how far you are willing to go and stick to it, no matter what. When you are stone cold in your office, alone, at home, you weigh the deal, you evaluate the deal, you assess the whole transaction. What do you want it to be? What's the ideal outcome for you? You aim for it. But if you can't reach it, how far are you willing to go to make this deal happen? Define your limit with much accuracy, because the heat of negotiation around the negotiation table could push you into giving away the store. You can put yourself in situations where you don't know exactly what you are doing. So be careful and define your limits, above which the deal won't happen because it doesn't make sense for you anymore. All right? We are talking numbers, we are talking price and terms, dollars and time frames. Define your limits. All seasoned negotiators do that, including your counterpart with whom you are going to negotiate. And that's why I'm giving you another weapon as a bonus for free. It's not the 4-star tactics anymore, it's the 4.5-star tactics. The trick is to disturb your opponent's calculations and forecasting by bringing something new to the table, something that they haven't anticipated. Let's take a trivial example where you negotiate a certain price and quantity of products with a supplier. The idea is to come up with some new elements, like you agree on a given price, but you want to pay in 5 months and you want the products to be delivered to 3 different places instead of 1. Okay, trivial example. You get the idea. And this way, they will be susceptible to conceding more because they will have lost their mark. All right? So put something on the table that they haven't anticipated, that makes the deal more interesting for you. Okay? That was the first 4-star tactic and 1.5. Okay? Second tactic, and this one is very short. You must create options for yourself. In negotiation, the one who has the best second option wins. That is the person who can afford to care less. The one who can't afford to lose this negotiation, to turn away and say goodbye, is in a weak position. Remember this. Whatever you negotiate, you must always have different options to choose from. If you don't, you are in a weak position. You are not negotiating, you are bluffing. Okay? This was the second one. Third one. This one will surprise you. Contrary to what most sales experts tell us, make the first offer. Why? Because it anchors the discussion. The final outcome of a negotiation is largely influenced by who makes the first offer. For instance, if you want to work out a deal to sell 40 units of something at a given price, then anchor the discussion to 60 units or 55 units to begin with. That way, they will view the number 55 as your expectation. It will serve you well to artificially inflate your starting position. It will give you greater room to negotiate down the road. And if you end up selling only 40 units, you will still be satisfied because that was your initial goal, right? And they will feel like they got a good deal, okay? Because surprisingly, this whole part of the negotiation is essentially a question of pride and a question of remaining credible. If we continue with the example above, if your opponent initially had, let's say, 20 units in mind, saying it out loud definitely anchors the negotiation somewhere between 10 and 30, 15 and 25, right? So you can't move them around like puppets. And it would certainly have been much harder to move them to 40 units, mainly because they want to seem credible. So never forget, the one who says the first number anchors the conversation. Size the opportunity. The reasons why other people don't like to make the first move, and it's a huge mistake, is one, because they secretly expect the counterpart to exceed their initial expectation. In other terms, they are dreaming or gambling, but not negotiating. And two, because making the first move takes audacity. Everyone expects the other party to make the first offer just to be able to stay in their comfort zone a little longer and not to risk offending anyone. As for me, in negotiations, I'm always the first to jump out of the ship. I'm the one who makes things uncomfortable for everyone. I make the initial effort, but once I've talked, the negotiation range is anchored. It's right there. It's too late. It's their turn now to make the effort to move it elsewhere. And it's much, much harder. That's what I have always done. And it has always worked like a charm. So do it, try it, it works. All right? Fourth negotiation tactic. Don't give away everything you planned up front. Keep some cards close to your chest and maybe even an ace up your sleeve. You know negotiations. You take something, you give away something. That's why you always need to withhold some ammo. Something that you know they want, or something that you know will direct the deal in the good direction for you. Otherwise, what in the world are you going to give? Keep a couple of things to give later, a couple of aces up your sleeves as the negotiation unfolds. You give something up, they're happy. Then later, again, you give them something else, totally unexpected, and they're happy. They get happier. Don't give everything up front. It takes some self-control, but remember this, people are always happier to find $20 bills on 5 consecutive days than one $100 bill once. Like good news spread out. Use it to your advantage. All right? So this was the fourth tactic. And as a reminder, tactics only weighs for about 20% of the whole negotiation. Do you know what are the other 80% about? The ultimate weapon to win a negotiation is to negotiate from a high status position. and I talk about it in greater details with the famous Trident blueprint in my video called How to Negotiate from a High Status Position.